I've held key leadership positions in both customer-facing and R&D domains as project and program manager, as well as line manager in several different areas. I am PMP, Product Management Professional, and ETLV4 certified. And my name is Per Adolfsson, and I'm passionate about leadership. My long working experience has provided me with multiple great tools and methods I use in my work. Some frequently, others more randomly. Sometimes I have found use of tools in another context than they were initially designed for, leveraging cross-pollination between businesses. There is, however, a tool that, even being extremely simplistic, is very powerful and useful in many different scenarios and methods. I'm talking about the 2x2 matrix, and in this video I will present some use cases and methodologies I use frequently. The Eisenhower matrix helps me prioritize tasks by dividing them along two dimensions, urgency and importance. I use this method daily when I decide where to allocate my energy, i.e., which task to prioritize. The first quadrant is urgent and important. These are the tasks that require immediate attention, like crisis, deadlines, prioritized problems, or actions. The second quadrant is important but not urgent. This is where the most work often happens. Things like planning, learning, or preparing for a meeting. These are things I schedule in upcoming or future focus times before they become urgent. The third quadrant is urgent but not important. These tasks often feel pressing, but they don't necessarily contribute to your goals. Examples might be certain emails or interruptions. Whenever possible, these tasks should be delegated or dealt with later, after the important activities are completed. The fourth quadrant is not urgent nor important. These are the distractions, activities that don't create value. Ideally, these should be limited or minimized. Examples might be information meetings, where you can ask a colleague for a short recap, or nowadays read the AI-generated notes. Having a good enough understanding in just a few minutes instead of spending 30 or even 60 minutes just participating on the meeting silently. Another simple but powerful prioritization tool is the impact versus effort matrix, and similar to the Eisenhower priority matrix just presented. These frameworks help me decide what to work on first by evaluating initiatives along two dimensions, the impact they create and the effort required to implement. I use this method frequently. First, we have the quick wins. They are high impact and low effort items. They are the low hanging fruits, if you may. They deliver meaningful value without requiring a lot of work, so they're usually where I like to start. Then, secondly, we have major projects. They are high impact, high effort initiatives. They can create significant value, but they require planning, time, and commitment. These are things I prioritize strategically and work with over time. Then, thirdly, we have the low impact and low effort items, or the fill ins. These are small improvements or minor tasks. They can be useful to tackle when there is time, especially to gain trust, but otherwise they're rarely not on my top priority list. And finally, we have the time wasters. They are low impact and high effort activities. They tend to consume a lot of energy while delivering limited value. So they're often the best candidates to avoid, postpone, or rethink. The skill will matrix helps me understand how to best support individuals based on two dimensions, the level of skill and their level of will. And with will, I mean motivation or engagement. I use this model when coaching team members, adapting my leadership style to fit their current situation. The first quadrant is low skill but high will. These individuals are motivated but still developing their capabilities. They are eager to learn and contribute. Hence, this quadrant is called contributors. In this case, I focus on coaching, providing clear guidance, training, and feedback, and maybe a study buddy to help them build confidence and competence. The second quadrant is high skill and high will. These individuals are both capable and motivated. They are the high performers and require minimal supervision. My role here is to delegate, give trust, and provide opportunities for growth while staying available for support when needed. The third quadrant is low skill and low will. These individuals struggle with both capability and motivation. In this case, I take a more direct approach, setting clear expectations, providing training, and closely supporting their development. If program remains limited, it may also require a discussion about role fit. Then the last quarter, the quadrant, is high skill but low will. These individuals have the capability but may lack motivation, engagement, or direction. Here I aim to understand the root cause. It may be lack of challenge, unclear goals, or external factors. My focus is to re engage them through meaningful work, recognition, or new challenges. The SWOT analysis helps me evaluate the situation by looking at four perspectives: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I use this method evaluating offerings before sending to customer or reviewing a tender from a subcontractor. I also used it to evaluate team and organization while defining strategic initiatives. The first quadrant is strength. These are the factors that work in our favor, things we are good at, capabilities we can rely on, or advantages we have. Identifying strength helps us understand what to build on and leverage further. The second quadrant is weaknesses. These are areas where we are lacking or need improvement. It could be skill gaps, resource constraints, inefficiencies, or lack of functionality. Being honest here helps us identify what we need to address or mitigate. The third quadrant is opportunities. These are factors we can take advantage of, trends, changes, or openings in the environment that we can leverage on for growth or improvement. This is where we look ahead and think strategically. Most important, opportunities should become strength over time. The fourth quadrant is threats. These are risks or challenges that could negatively impact us. It could be competition, market changes, or uncertainties. Identifying threats early allow us to prepare and reduce potential impact and is similar to risk mitigation. Finally, sometimes an item can be either a weakness or an opportunity, and then it's better to add them to the opportunities. The next model is also based on the 2 by 2, but comes with a little twist, a circle in the center. This model helps me look at the topic from multiple perspectives to ensure we don't miss important factors. This includes combining behavior, structures, capabilities, and processes into one holistic view. I use this approach when analyzing complex situations or driving change, making sure we address both people and practices aspects. The first area is behavior. This includes mindset, values, and needs. It's about how people think and feel, which often drives how they act. Understanding behavior helps us identify cultural enablers or barriers that impact performance. This is an area that is normally very much underestimated. The second area is capabilities. This includes competence, skills, and number of people and diversity. It's about identifying what the organization is required to do and manage after the change and to be able to close the potential gaps, like ability to work with a new tool, for instance. The third area is structures. This covers organization, governance, and roles, as well as informal networks. These are the frameworks that shape how we work is organized and how decisions are made. Clear and aligned structures support effective execution. The fourth area is processes. This refers to how work gets done in practice. The processes, the way of working, the tools, and the habits. These are the routines that drive consistency and efficiency in everyday operations. Improving processes often create immediate impact. And finally, at the center is the topic we are analyzing. To create sustainable result, we need to take all four dimensions into account rather than optimizing just one in isolation. So let's wrap this video up with a few more methodologies based on the 2 by 2 I have come across and use occasionally. The first one, the Johari window. It's a visual framework used to improve interpersonal communication and relationship while promoting personal development. This tool offers opportunities for feedback and discussions, aiming to enhance group dynamics. I used it sometimes while mentoring others to allow the mentee to find out more about him or herself. Secondly, the simple risk matrix, which is a tool to assess, prioritize potential risks and impacts, and ranks them according to probability and impact. In most cases, I use a 3 by 3 or even a 5 by 5 when conducting risk assessments to get a better granularity. However, a 2 by 2 works fine for assessing simple risks on your own. And finally, DISC analysis. DISC measures dimensions of your personality. It does not measure intelligence, aptitude, mental health, or values. DISC profile describes how a specific person behaves in various situations. It's an excellent tool to evaluate if a person is fit for a specific position or not, or to obtain diversity in teams when recruiting. I have had the opportunity to conduct this personality test a few times and notice how my personality evolved throughout the years. Now, I have walked you through several use cases or methodologies based on the simple 2 by 2 matrix that I use either daily, frequently, or occasionally. They all provide value to my roles and responsibility as a leader. Thank you for watching. I hope this inspires you with some new insights that you bring with you on your own leadership journey. Have you used any of these methodologies or any other based on the 2 by 2 matrix? If so, feel free to leave any comments or reflections and remember to use a professional and respectful tone. Thank you.